All right, we are joined by Korn Ferry Tour winner James Nicholas. I'm sure that it sounds good to the ear to finally hear that. How's life been since the win? I know you won down in South America, and now you're back in South America. Did you go back to what have the last couple of weeks been like?
Yeah, no, I went on a little ski trip with Icon Pass and my wife. Icon Pass is one of my sponsors, so they flew us out to Deer Valley. Did a nice chill, greens and maybe a couple blues, but
I was
ski
gonna
trip.
say skiing is
Yeah,
dangerous for a golfer.
yeah, we were taking it easy, getting some content, and then went to Florida, and then got right back to work. Started practicing again, a couple workouts, and then, like you said, flew back down here to Argentina today. So got here and got settled in.
How are these weeks? Because you guys have played, if I'm not mistaken, Bahamas, Panama, Colombia, now Argentina. Is it? I mean, obviously winning makes it a lot easier, but are you looking forward to get back to the States, or do you enjoy the travel?
So I played the DP World Tour 2 years ago, and it was the best year of my professional career, like from an enjoyment standpoint. So traveling to places like, Copenhagen and Amsterdam, and then to South Africa, Kenya, Korea. So I actually don't mind the travel. I embrace it. I enjoy it. And then, you just mentioned the Bahamas, Argentina, Chile, Panama, Colombia. Like these are places that people dream of going to in their lives, and then to be able to do that and, go there for work is, I embrace it and I actually love it. So it's really cool.
How soon after the win, or maybe while you were winning, did you think about the meme that you posted after, which was "I took that personally"?
Oh
Why in the
no.
world would he give you 6 shots?
I got beat by 9 by Brad.
Yeah, but I would say Brad is substantially better than James Nicholas, and that is not a slight on James Nicholas at all.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
He went on to say that Brad is better than Colin Morikawa. So, I did, I had that in the bank, just waiting for the right moment. And then somebody made that meme for me. And I was like, oh, this is getting posted right away.
I did want to ask though, do people, you exist in kind of one foot in both worlds. I mean, obviously you're having a lot of success as a touring professional. You've played in major championships. You've now won on the third, fourth, whatever it is, best tour in the world. You played a full season on the DP World Tour. So you can probably speak to this better than anyone. Do people underrate how good the level is out on the Korn Ferry Tour?
Oh, 100%. I mean, you said third or fourth best tour in the world. I don't know. I would rank it pretty high up there. I played in the DP World Tour, played some PJ Tour events. Obviously, the PJ Tour is the pinnacle of golf. You do have Live and you do have DP, but I think from a depth standpoint, the Korn Ferry Tour is deeper, way deeper than Live and DP, and that's not a debate. Like anybody would say that. So anybody can win on any given day on this tour, and it's pretty remarkable to play alongside these great players. And obviously, to get that win is just a very validating feeling for sure.
Well, you played in the majors, and I know in Florida you've played matches with a lot of the best players in the world. What is the difference? Is it just getting that break, or what do you think from what you've seen up close? Separates someone who's kind of keeping their card on the Korn Ferry Tour from someone who's getting into signature events.
Yeah, so I played last year for two events. I had this caddy Dermot Byrne, and he caddied for Shane Lowry for over 15 years. Caddied for Shane in major championships and multiple wins. And I asked Dermot, I was like, "What's the difference?" He goes, "You got it. You have." He said a lot of nice things about me, but he said what the difference is when these guys have their opportunity, they finish the deal. They go out and they win. So when I was in Colombia, actually coming down the stretch, Dermot caddied for me in this event last year. I was kind of thinking to myself, like, this is that opportunity. This is that chance to, get that first win. Let's close the door and to, play with guys like Sahith and Luke Donald and, just recently, obviously, had Max Gravesman, Neil Shipley on the channel. And to play with them day in and day out, there's no difference. Everybody is super talented. Play with Brandon Matthews, who's back on the Korn Ferry Tour, and I play with Brandon Wu, who's back on the Korn Ferry Tour. And, these guys are changing tours yearly. But then you do have that upper level of Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy and now Chris Gotterup. But I played with Chris. We grew up in the Mets section, playing against each other every single week, and I think it's just doing it and sticking to the process. And I do believe that I will be there, and I will be one of those names one day that people do talk about. So I think just sticking to the process and keeping going, and time is the difference maker. Some guys do it really quickly, and some guys it takes some time.
I was wondering if maybe it takes some more time for you because of your upbringing. So I wanted to get into this. I know you played three sports in high school. You actually played, I think, 1 year of Division I football at Yale. When you look back on it, there's all this different sort of research about, oh, kids shouldn't specialize, or kids should specialize. When you look back, are you grateful that you played all those sports, or is there part of you that's thinking that maybe it slowed my development a little bit?
I don't think I'd be here if I didn't play those other sports. I don't think I would be remotely as good as I am today. There is that debate. You can think about, oh, if I specialized on golf earlier, but I do think about, my body wouldn't have developed as well or as not intricately, but the way it did, not having played football and hockey and lacrosse and being on the swim team and dive team. And I think talking about the positives of all those sports and what they've actually enabled me to do, and then what I've learned in the team sport world, right? Like you watched the Olympics a couple days ago and seeing Team USA beat Canada and the way that they just carried themselves and mentally having that background of hockey, football, playing for people other than yourself, and then bringing that into the golf world. I think that's what separates me right now. And I definitely build off of that. But if I was, if I had a kid and I was teaching them to be a golfer or an athlete one day, it's like, hey, pick up a racket, pick up a golf club, pick up a hockey stick, throw a football, just get athletic, be good as an athlete, and then you'll figure out the golf stuff later. You'll figure out the fine tuning of it later.
So I saw the Korn Ferry Tour posted something recently. So you and McAvoy go way back, huh? So he caddied for you in a
Yeah.
Korn Ferry event. Are you guys still in touch? What's that relationship like?
Yeah, I mean, I could pull up a screenshot of a FaceTime last night after the win. Charlie went down and FaceTimed a lot of his past teammates, and I was obviously included. And we talked a little bit, and he was celebrating. And then he actually FaceTimed my dad, who's helped him out medically, over his career of medical injuries. And I grew up with Charlie. He was, the defenseman on our team, and at first, he was an opponent. He played for the Long Island Gulls, and they were the best team in the country. And I played for the Westchester Express, and we were the number 2 team in the country. And we would go back and forth, and then we finally convinced him to come join our team. And from that day, we've been best friends. And to watch him excel on the highest level, in my opinion, the Olympic gold is the highest level in team sports. So it was just so cool to watch.
Wait, so the best junior hockey teams aren't in like Minnesota or Michigan; they're in New York.
No, New York, Long Island. We had some pretty good teams. So then after playing for the Westchester Express, I went over and played for the North Jersey Avalanche, and we played on the 18U team. We were the number 1 team in the country for the whole season. Ended up losing in the national championships. But yeah, you got like your Shattuck St. Mary's from Minnesota. You do have CompuWare, Little Caesars, are on the Detroit, Chicago area. The Mission are really good, but we were pretty special as a team. If you take a picture of our team, there's quite a few guys that are playing right now in the big show. So yeah, New York represent in the hockey world for sure.
Interesting. So you mentioned, having some guys on your channel, you're doing the YouTube stuff. Obviously, you're very, very big on social media. Do you feel like that adds pressure, or does it take it off because you have something else?
It definitely adds pressure. It doesn't really, if I was like, in terms of like, I have something else, if I were doing this to make money and be financially stable, I would be using my Yale degree to do something much different. Right. So it's like this joy of sharing the journey with people that I enjoy. But again, you do have all these critics. You have people hating. In my opinion, people don't really say anything negative unless they're jealous. And that's what I've learned. And that's sort of what keeps me from really taking these negative comments to heart, because nobody in their right mind is going to comment something negative on a post of somebody trying to be inspirational and trying to share their journey, unless they truly deep down are just either jealous or angry at the world. But then to go to your point, like it is like I have a foot in each door. Like my goal is to be world number 1. And, right now I'm world number 264, and that's up from 500 last year. And I want to keep making this progress, but I also want to keep documenting it and hopefully inspiring a generation of kids to chase their dreams that might not have come from, a Texas or a Florida or an Alabama like school. I came from Yale, which was a mid, to below average Division I golf program, and to be able to pursue it after school and get better in my 20s has been really cool and really fun to share.
But it is a big difference. I mean, I've been doing this college series, and I've gone down to Texas and Florida State and Auburn, and those kids are mini professionals. I would imagine it was a little bit different, your experience at Yale.
I was just trying to break 75 my first year, and just, that would be a good day, but it is a lot different. You don't have the winter to grind all day, and our, class schedule was rigorous. Like we couldn't skip class on Friday to go to an event. It was, hey, let's, try to maximize the amount of days that we're going to be in school, in class, and then we'll figure out the schedule after that. So it was a lot different. I remember on our spring break trip, our coach asked like, okay, like we got the lineup for this event. And there were a couple guys that were like, I don't really want to play. I've got a test coming up. I need to start studying. And I'm like, that wasn't me, but that was the culture that was around the school. And, there's obviously tons of guys that want to be there and play golf, but there's so many distractions outside of just golf. And I feel like at these other schools, like you're talking about, it's going towards more like golf first, school second. And I don't, I don't want to say that because obviously everybody says they're student
Oh,
athletes,
it's
but
100% true. I mean, I'll tell you firsthand.
yeah.
I mean, a lot of these kids don't even have an in-person class, like.
hmm Yeah, no, that was very different for us, especially pre-COVID when we were taking school and there wasn't a Zoom. It's like if you miss class, the professor was like, "No, you're getting a 0, and then you can figure out how to make up extra credit at the end of the year."
Yeah, so I ask a lot of people this question, a lot of pro golfers, and I'm sure you've done a video on this, but for people who haven't seen it, let's say you have an 8 a.m. tee time. Walk me through the TikTok of the whole day, when you're waking up, what time you're getting to the golf course, and then after the round as well.
Yeah, so I actually learned time blocking, so I'm very regimented. So if I were to write this down, I'd go on my note sheet on my phone and I would go, 8 a.m. ball out, and then I work backwards. So I start warming up an hour and 15 before, so that'd be 6:45. If say I'm staying 5 minutes away, I'd get to the course at 6:30, 6:35, just so I have 10 minutes to put my bag in the locker, get some balls out, maybe mark them, but that's about it. And then now we're at 6:30. I'd have breakfast at 6, and that takes me about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then the additional 5 to 10 to get to the course. And then I'd wake up at 5:30 because at 5:30, wake up, 5:45 stretch, then 5:55 shower change, and then 6:05-ish breakfast. So we'll wake up around 5:30, so that's 2.5 hours. I know a lot of guys have like the 3-hour rule or the 4-hour rule. I don't know. It doesn't work for me. I just kind of work backwards and make sure they get my 15 minutes of stretch, 10 minutes of stretch, breakfast, shower and change, walk to the course, and then start that hour and 15-minute warm up.
What's involved in that warm up?
So I'll start on the putting green. I have a little mat that I do, left to right putts. I do 4 without a gate, and then I put the gate down. Then I have to make 4 through the gate. Then I go right to lefters, make 4 on the mat. Then I put the gate down, make 4 more with the gate. Very superstitious. Each ball has to go in on the no gate and gate. It can't be like the same ball 4 times. It needs to be each single ball in the hole 2 times from left to righters and right to lefters. Then I do a distance drill. So I do 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, 50 feet, 3 balls at each, downhill and uphill. Then that takes me about 20 minutes or so to do that chunk of putting. Then I'll go to the range. I'll hit balls for half an hour. And then I'll chip for 5 minutes or so, then putt for the remainder 5 or 10, and then get ready to go on the first tee.
And then after the round, you have like a post-round routine?
It depends. Every single event's different. If I feel like I need to do some work, maybe I saw a couple bad shots creep in at the end of the round, then I'll go to the range. But I honestly like to get away from the course as quickly as possible and just escape and go hang out with my wife or my friends and get my mind off golf.
Yeah, it's quite a life. What's the goal? I mean, obviously you're in a great position now. You're high up there in the points, still early in the season. Is it important to keep the foot to the pedal? Like, what's the mindset going into the rest of the year?
It's so interesting. And, I just won, but I had 2 weeks off. So I got to think about a lot of things. It wasn't like I was preparing for an event the next day on Monday. And I talked a lot about it with my wife. And we were saying, I think before I won, we were almost like not talking about winning. We were like scared to say the word because we want to jinx it. We want to talk about it. And now that I've won, it's like, well, why don't we just like embrace it and talk about, I have a chance to get a PGA Tour card. And, I need 500, 600 more points to get that PGA Tour card. And it's like, well, that's another win. The job's not nearly finished. So yes, I'm in a great spot. It's 4 events in. I'm 3rd in the points list. Like I can look at all the stats and say that. But like you said, you need to be pedaled down. If you get complacent, it's just like a great year with a win that you lost your PGA Tour card. Not lose it, but you didn't get your PGA Tour card and you got a Korn Ferry Tour card for next year. So I do have that job security of I know no matter what, I've got a job next year, but I'd like the job to be, on the PGA Tour, not the Korn Ferry Tour.
Well, I like your chances. I think this is the year. I look forward to hopefully seeing you out there on the big tour next year, and keep it up, man. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.